Hey guys, Mubarak here, Vin Penny Stock. Hope you're doing well. In today's live, we're going to be covering the most asked question we get, which is how do you even research or analyze stocks? All right, there's about 4,000 public companies out on the stock exchanges, at least only in the United States, and a lot of times people don't know where to get started. All right, they hear some. In the news, you hear about the blue chip stocks like Apple, Facebook, Netflix, Google, Amazon, Alibaba. And all those companies are very successful, big blue chip companies, but they cost a lot to be able to get started with. All right. Amazon, Apple, these companies go for close to $1,000 a share. And so for new investors, it's not best to start with those because there's not enough liquidity or volatility for you to be able to actually make a good amount on your money. Now, in the stock market bull run that's going on, if you do choose to go the long-term route, then you probably will have been benefiting in the last couple of years from the great bull runs. Apple, Netflix, Amazon, these companies have gone up 30, 40, 50% in a year. But it's kind of tough to see that type of stuff frequently. So in order to take those types of gains, that's over the course of a year. But if you want to get that within a day or two or a week, then that's when you kind of want to take more advantage of the penny stock markets. All right. So that same type of fluctuation happens at a much shorter time period. And that's what really allows you to profit. Because these stocks, right, I'm going to show you different ways to start researching them. I'm going to show you different ways to look into these types of stocks, but you can kind of really take advantage of the volatility if you pay attention to how it works. All right, so let's get into it. If you're looking to research stocks, there's certain criteria and certain kind of go-to sources you should use. All right, a very popular one that I've been mentioning. And again, this is going to be split up into two parts. First, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to research. Okay, so like how to find stocks, what to look out for, what items to look into. And then that part goes into the analysis, right? So once you find a stock, then how do you know it's a good one to put into your watch list? How do you know to make it part of your trading arsenal? All right, so the first step is to figure out your watch list, which is what traders refer to as a core handful of stocks that they're going to be looking at one time or another because they feel that it's a good, advantageous position to be in, right? They feel that that stock has the right criteria for them to be able to profit off of. And we teach that in Penny Stock University, and I'm going to go into it now. All right, so one of the key methods, we have one in Penny Stock, but I'm going to mention that last, so that way you guys have unbiased third-party tools. The first one I really recommend is FinViz. It's a very popular one that I've been talking about this year. And FinViz is a great stock screening platform. It allows you to set up a lot of filters, a lot of screens, and what you're looking for is two core features, right? You're looking for top gainers. You're looking for top losers. And then there's a lot in between that we're going to talk about more in the analysis part. But really what you're looking for is large overreactions in the stock market. Okay, first on the top gainer side, these are usually really good to learn from because what happened here is something that you can benefit from. That's once you start observing the top gainers, you'll start understanding what factors have to come together in order for a certain stock to go up 40, 50, 60% in a single day. And if you think about it, if you put in $1,000 or $2,000 into one of these stocks, you can make $600, $700, $800 in a single day. And so that's kind of where the motivation or really where the proper stock trading mechanics comes into play. Because when you start observing these stocks, you can see that every couple of days, there's stocks that go up. There's probably about 4 to 5 different stocks a day that went up at least 40%. Usually one is like a blue chip company that might have been out of our normal scope, but the rest are penny stocks usually that you can actually take advantage of and be able to trade successfully. All right, so when you look at the top gainers, you're going to see stuff like biotech stocks. You're going to see penny stock jumps. You're going to see pump and dumps. And understanding what brought those about is very important for you to be able to enhance your skills as a trader. All right. The second part is the top losers. And now these are usually overreactions to the market. Now, of course, you have to pay attention and look into what the reason is. If the company just declared bankruptcy or they lost some massive contracts, they had a dip in sales, they had bad earnings, then there's a possibility that the stock is going to go even lower the next day. But sometimes, for example, just last week in the live, I was referring to this one ticker, WTER, that lost almost 30% of its share because of an overreaction. And now, actually, I'm going to look up to see what it's actually trading at now, so that way we have a good indicator. It basically lost a third of its percentage, and then the next day I bought it because it was a dip buy, and it was trading around the $1, which I found as a nice point of support. It went from $1.30 down to $1, and then it shot up to $1.15. So I was able to make a good 15% profits. And this was, again, just one of the stocks that I had researched for these lives, right? We do these lives every single day at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, except for on Sundays where it's going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific, like it is now. So for this week, again, it's going to be available to all YouTube members. It's going to be available to everybody of the Penny Stock community. But after this week, we're only going to leave these daily lives and webinars and one-on-ones for the executive VIP members or the lifetime VIP members at inpennystock.com. So definitely check that out after this live. But going back to the lesson, right? These two, so Finviz is a popular one, but also for some people, you can find all this information on Yahoo Finance too. Okay. This information, both of these, allow you to start creating your watch list. All right, you're able to choose certain stocks so you can see which ones should fit. All right, and finally, the last one before we go into the analysis part, we do have a stock screener at inpennystock.com/stocks. That's also a great stock screener and a watch list tool. But actually, what we're going to be doing now is going to be working on building that software up a lot more, so that way you guys have an accessible platform, even a mobile app that allow you to get real-time news alerts. So you don't have to pay a ton for these softwares like Equity Feed, charging hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month. You'll get access to all this through our platform. So that's what we're currently working on over at Penny Stock. So again, you're going to research your stocks through some of these platforms. A lot of these you'll be able to get a nice little handful of stocks. But now the question is, right, after I've done my research, after I've had to pull from either Finviz, Yahoo Finance, inpennystock.com/stocks, or also your own trading platforms, whatever you're using, whether it's E-Trade, ShareTrader, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, any of those trading platforms, they have their own software where they have stock screening tools that you can utilize. But let's get into the analysis part, right? So you get a handful of these stocks. Okay, now what are certain measures that you're looking for? That's the key things, because at Penny Stock, we go into detail. I have a series where I just show you guys my screen and show you how I'm researching and analyzing the stocks. But that's what you need to know how to do, right? So the second part is the analysis part. So first of all, you want to get a good price, right? Generally speaking, I like to trade stocks under about $5 to $7. So this would be kind of the cap that I put it at. The reason for that is because that allows me to buy more shares, which means that my money will kind of turn more based on the percentage, right? Usually lower price stocks have more volatility because more and more people can buy more shares. And again, as I always say, the stock price of a company is based upon how many shares are being bought and how many shares are being sold. So the more shares that are being bought, that means the stock price is going to go up, and the same thing on the way down. If more people are selling, then the stock price is actually going to go down. So you want to make sure that the dollar range is good. The second thing you want to make sure is volume or liquidity. Okay, volume is the amount of shares traded in one day. Now, if you're doing day trading and you want to buy and sell and be able to profit and get in and out of your positions relatively quickly, then you're going to want to make sure that there's at least 100,000 average volume, 100,000 shares traded a day, because what that means is that there's at least enough liquidity and enough people buying and selling that you'll be able to enter and exit your positions when you need to. Okay, and that's really important because the worst case scenario that people run into is that they buy a stock, it does well, and they're about to profit, and they try to sell their stock, but because they chose a stock that didn't have enough volume being traded, they're stuck, and there's no buyers for their shares, and they usually end up losing even more money, and they lose all their profits. So that's a really tricky concept, but it's very easy to follow as long as you just set your stock screener to have at least 100,000. If you're very confident about the stock and you feel like certain news will trigger more, you can go down to 75,000 shares traded, but this is usually pretty comfortable for you to be able to get those relatively instant orders for buying and selling stocks. All right. Now, this, I'm going to make it like 2B, only because this is for long-term investors. A key thing for long-term investors, or if you're interested in dividend stocks, is the market cap. Now, the market cap essentially is a simple equation. It's the price of the stock times how many shares there are out there, right? So if Apple has 1 million shares out there, and say hypothetically it was, each share is $100, then you just do 100 times 1 million, and the market cap, which people use as a rough estimation of a company's value, then the stock market cap of Apple in that scenario, right? 100 shares. I'm just gonna write it up here. $100 a share at 1 million shares, you get 100 million, right? So the market cap is important because it tells you how big the company is. And so if you're looking to do dividend stocks, or if you're looking to do longer term holds, I would recommend that the market cap be at least, 500 mil or more, right? Companies that have doing 500 mil or have a market cap of that, usually to some extent, you have a little bit more long-term viability. They're a little less immune to volatility. But again, currently the stock markets are pretty wild, and there've always been certain interesting players in the markets, right? Tesla was valued at almost about $70 billion. And the share price I thought was overvalued back in just December 2019. And now all of a sudden, because of the craziness of the stock market, Tesla's worth almost like 145 billion, doubled in literally a month, right? So that wasn't something most people could call for. I know a lot of people who were able to dip by and get in on that stock trade, but I didn't because it was already overvalued. And Tesla's been a super volatile stock. It dropped from $800 down to $650 in a single day. And then it bounced back up, and now it's going back down. So, you have to be careful in any market. But again, these are just general criteria that you should follow and pay attention to. All right. The other two important analysis you need to do that we talk more about at Penny Stock University is the technical analysis, right? And then finally, the fundamental analysis. All right. And I want to go into detail about what each one of these are and what factors they cover. Okay, the technical analysis, what you're looking for generally is what is the pattern of the stock price, right? You're looking at the graph. So technical means purely you're just visualizing the actual stock price charts. You're not going into the company. You're not learning about the actual semantics of the company itself. You're just looking at the stock price history and how it's done over time. All right, and what you're going to try to look for is two key things. All right, you're going to try to look for levels of support and levels of resistance. Okay, it's not rocket science, so I try to break it up as simple as possible. And for those who have been following me a long time, you probably noticed that I cover these core concepts relatively regularly, and that's because it is the key basics, right? These are the rules of the game. This is in basketball, how to dribble, how to shoot, how to play defense. Once you learn those core metrics, obviously there's a lot of skill involved in practice and practice and practice. But once you understand the core fundamentals, you can at least understand, okay, I know how to play the game. I know how to win, right? And so once you know how to win, then you know what to work on in order to improve your skills. That's what I'm laying the foundation for here. I'm teaching you the rules of the stock market so that way you can understand what are the best principles. I'm telling you the best shoes, the best mechanics, the best cardio. I'm telling you, again, going back to that basketball analogy, I'm telling you all of that so you can keep an idea of what to look out for and what skills are involved for you to be a successful trader. All right, so levels of support and resistance are basically the thresholds when you're looking at the stock price. Let me actually erase the board so I can give you a quick visualization of it. When you're looking at the stock price charts, the levels of support and resistance are what's in between. So for example, if you pull up a stock, right, it looks like this. Usually here is the price, and at the bottom is time. And you can choose different intervals, but the stock price will change. Right, let's say that's just a normal stock chart. What you're looking for is certain points. You can see that for some reason every time it gets to this point, besides this one breakout, right, I would have traded this. This was a level, these were almost like the highs. Imagine it's touching every circle I make, imagine that's touching the line. So for some reason, the stock price was always hitting this one point. Let's call this $1. It's hitting $1, it would go down. It hits $1, it goes down. What you can see here is that if I was to be trading this, generally speaking, in the future, once it passes $1 right here, I would be able to trade this right here, because I found that over time, this created a level of resistance. That's what this top bar is called. And that anytime the stock breaks past this, there's usually a reason. There was some momentum, some news, some type of indicator that allowed it to break that point. And usually that's a good signal or indicator for us that it's able to be traded. The same part, there's a part at the bottom, let's say these two are together, that these are points of support. So I know that the penny stock or whatever pattern I'm looking at, generally speaking, is able to trade within a certain threshold. Now, this is a little bit messy. At InPenny Stock University, we go into depth of it where you can actually follow my screen, you can follow my trades, and we'd show you kind of how to go through the entire process. So if you're interested, definitely go check that out. But the last part I want to go into is the fundamental analysis, all right? Because that's actually more so what Wall Street does, the fundamentals. Let me tell you what that involves. That involves knowing what the company is, knowing what they do, their products, knowing the industry, right? Are they in oil and gas? Are they in telecommunications? Is it a financial services company? Is it an app? Is it a tech company, right? Then we go even deeper, right? Fundamentals are usually used more for longer term trading. So for quick day traders that are trying to buy and sell a position in a day, in a few days, maximum in a week, they pretty much just have to follow rules 1, 2, and 3, right? 1 being the price, and 2 being the volume, right? The amount of shares. But if you're going to be holding anything longer than a week, then you want to understand the fundamentals. You want to know what stocks you're going to be able to buy. You want to know what the management team looks like. You want to know how the stock is doing. So that's pretty much the main rules that you want to look out for when you're researching and when you're trying to analyze a stock. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed this session. All right, again, we're going to be going live every day at InPenny Stock University here at 8 p.m. Pacific. That's 11 p.m. Eastern. And on Sundays, again, at this time, 1 p.m. Pacific. And if you guys have any more questions, you can always reach out to us. You can email us at admin@inpennystock.com, or you can DM us or message us through our social media at InPennyStock on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're pretty much all over, right? So again, as I always say, we're here for you guys. There's always the live chat here. So for those of you guys watching, if you do have any questions, always come here ready for it. I'm here to answer questions for you guys. But yeah, finally, if you're looking to make 2020 your year of trading, then I highly recommend going to check out inpennystock.com. And we have a fantastic 50% offer that's going on until Friday of this week, which is just the code NEWMEMBER50, right? That's NEW, just write it on the board, on the live new member 50, all lowercase, all one word. And if you put that in, you'll get 50% off right away. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Enjoy your weekends, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.